This video I'm just looking at how to download processing on the Mac. There'll be another video for downloading and installing on Windows. We did this in class, so I'm just reviewing this to make sure you can get processing and Python mode set up. So the first step is to download it from processing.org, and if you click here on the download link right on the front page, you'll be presented with which platform, and I'm choosing the Mac OS version for this video, which is downloaded here. So it might take a few minutes to download, but in the end you'll have a zip file, and in Chrome you have this little arrow that will let you display where the download went. And it's a zip file, so I have to extract it. So I just control clicked or right clicked, and actually I guess I can even just double click it to open it, and it will extract in the same folder, in my downloads folder. So there's the app. I think what most people would do on the Mac is to move that into their applications folder. So I'll just copy it over, and I've already got it at this point, so I'll just replace it with the latest version. And then another choice might be that you would want it to appear down here on your taskbar. So if I go back to my applications and find processing here, then I would drag it down. If it wasn't already here, I would drag it down here and it would copy that link into my taskbar. So I'm going to double click processing to open it up. And you can trust this software. It's a well-known open source project, and the source code's been available for it ever since the beginning, and there's not going to be any problems with it. Now the first time you run it, you want to be careful that you don't actually try to edit any of the code before you install the Python mode. If you haven't installed processing before, when you first open it up, it will be in the Java mode, which is the default mode that it comes already installed and ready to operate in. It's a little slow when you first start it up. I think it's doing some compiling. So there, you would see it looking like this, and it would say Java in the top right corner, and you would have to go to add mode. And this is, if you do type anything in here and try to switch modes, processing will kind of get upset with you because it wants you to save the code and it doesn't want you to switch between different modes. So if you run into that problem, just shut it down and restart it, and then immediately go to add mode. And obviously I've already installed the Python mode, but you'll see that there's a Python mode here, and you would just click on this and click install. So it's the Python mode for processing 3, and you would click install, and it can be a bit of a wait to get the install the library or the mode downloaded and installed. And once it's installed, you can probably restart it again. You might just restart it. Sometimes it gets stuck on that, especially at school for some reason. But restart it and then switch it into Python mode. And a quick test might be to put in a little code or go to the examples. I'm just going to click on examples here. The Python mode comes with examples in Python, so we could look into the examples here. I don't know if there's a particular, it doesn't matter, so we'll just open anything. This is under the basics folder, and try running this example. So again, the first time running, it might take a moment just to kind of compile. So there, so clearly this is up and running, and the examples are a fantastic place to get started. And I'll also just mention what else is particular to Python. So if I go back to the website here, the main page, and if you Google and look for answers in code and explanations on how processing works, you're almost always going to see things that are in Java, which isn't, it's probably something you can read at this point anyway, so there's no reason why you wouldn't take a look and try to understand what the gist of whatever the video is that you're looking at, but just be aware that you're going to have to change the language, and that's going to come with some issues. These videos here are really popular. For the most part, these videos are now in the JavaScript mode, which is again a different language from Python. But again, there's fantastic topics in these collections of videos, and I would encourage you to take a look at those. But really, the main source of Python information is going to be under this tab that says processing.py, and this reference manual is really a really important thing. I would bookmark this and just open this automatically as you get started. Let's just look quickly at the rectangle. This is what we did in class. So I would just grab this code for how to draw a rectangle and drop it into my empty sketch and just run it. And that gets me up and running with a simple one-line program. And of course, this explains what's going on with rectangle. If we need to know, rectangle is not part of Python. It's a processing function that does a graphical. These are for the most part going to be extensions to Python that allow you to do things graphically and other interactive features. So this one draws a rectangle, and it explains what the 4 parameters are for the simplest version of it. So you just have to get used to giving these pages a quick read, try the code out, try different values, and test things out. Lastly, I'll just say that there's some tutorials here as well, and the example code. I think these are all the same examples that you it just mentions to look at them under file examples, which we did, but these are some great starting tutorials as well. So hopefully you're up and running with processing at this point, at least on the Mac, and we'll look at getting started with processing in another video.